Hi, good evening. You're watching the news at 6 with me, Ishan Russell, and these are the headlines that we're tracking right now. Below than expected GDP data and falling Asian markets affect the stock markets here. The Sensex is down by 586 points. Prime Minister Narendra Modi attacks the Grand Opposition Alliance in Bihar, claims Chief Minister Nitish Kumar sacrificed ideology and has not delivered on promises. Clashes trigger indefinite curfew in Manipur. 6 people killed and 14 injured as protesters oppose a bill allowing non-tribals to access land. And in cricket, India wrap up the 3-test series 2-1. Angela Matthews' centuries goes in vain as Sri Lanka lose the Colombo test by 117 runs. Our top story this evening, the stock market saw another big slump on Tuesday, a day after the first quarter's GDP figures turned out to be less than expected. Weak global markets too weighed on the sentiments, triggering heavy sell-offs. The Sensex tanked by nearly 600 points, while the Nifty dropped below the 2800 mark.
Slower GDP growth in the first quarter of the current financial year and a jittery Asian market amid a weakening Chinese economy weighed heavily on the stock markets on Tuesday. Sensex and Nifty indices falling over 2%. At its day's low, Sensex fell over 700 points. It later recovered to end 587 points down. Nifty settled below the 2,800 mark. Asian shares also fell after surveys showed China's manufacturing sector in the grip of its worst slump in 3 years. The Shanghai Composite Index lost 1.3%, Japan's Nikkei closed nearly 4% lower, and the European stock markets also began on a weak note. Meanwhile, China has launched an investigation after allegations of insider trading and false reporting behind the volatility in the markets. A journalist and an official of China's securities regulator confessed it on Tuesday.
不应该仅仅为了轰动效应、追求轰动效应、抓取眼球这种目的的给国家和股民带来这么大的损失。
我觉得我知法犯法。 目无法纪，我觉得对法律缺乏起码的这个敬畏感，违反了刑法的规定，应当受到严厉的处罚。
Uncertainty over interest rates in the United States has also kept investors cautious. Rise in rate could further impact the global market, which is already grappling with the crisis in China. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And we're joined by senior journalist Priyaranjan Das to help us understand, Priyaranjan, as far as the markets today are concerned, I mean, was this a correction that is due in the Indian market, or is it weak global cues, weak GDP data? What exactly is it, and do we expect this trend to continue?
This is, of course, a knee-jerk reaction to the disappointment that the markets have experienced following the GDP data, which is not looking good insofar as the market is concerned. But if you look at the GDP data in itself, you know, it's 7% by the new series, which is, of course, down from the, from the last year's quarter. But it is, even by the old series of GDP estimate, it will be around 5%, which is not bad at all, considering that, Russia, Brazil are in the negative territory.
Yeah, world GDP is also
and most of the emerging markets and the world GDP too. And India is at 7%, is the fastest growing economy even today. So the markets are definitely, this is a knee-jerk reaction on the part of the market.
Okay.
But that's not to say that the economy is in good shape. If you look at the growth experience that India has had,
right,
and in terms of the potential of growth, clearly 7% growth is, is an underperformance. And given the enthusiasm and the optimism that was there a year ago, it would seem that, they say, a year in politics is a long time, but it looks that a year in economics hasn't changed anything at all.
All right. If we also talk about the larger economy, I mean, you touched upon that point. We talked about the world GDP slowing down, the emerging markets slowing down, negative growth being registered in many emerging markets. So as far as the Chinese economic meltdown is concerned, and I'm dare say use that term right now, but is it too early to call it that? Because this seems a regular story for the past 1 month, and that course correction that was perhaps overdue in the Chinese economy finally taking place. How is that going to impact India in the long term? Is it an opportunity or is that a threat?
Well, it should have been an opportunity, and it is an opportunity in the sense that Indian economy can reap the benefit of China not growing as fast as it used to grow. Clearly, ever since the Chinese economy has started slowing down, commodity prices are down, energy prices are down, and since India is a net importer of energy, and it should have been in a position to take advantage of that. But unfortunately, because of domestic policy issues and other macroeconomic structural issues that we may have in our economy, we are not being able to take advantage of that.
Right. All right. But so my final question is, as far as this is concerned, the stock markets and the fact that the Sensex lost over 500 points today. I mean, as a smaller investor, is it a time to be playing around with the markets, or what should the common man, as always, the typical common man should be doing in this situation with the stock markets?
Well, it's, at best of times also, it is one should not be timing the market.
Right.
And it's so unpredictable to predict the market. So given the situation that you have, and you have the Asian markets in turmoil, in fact, the world financial markets across, not just in stocks, but all asset prices are very unpredictable and uncertain. Given that, it's better to keep off and watch, I would say.
All right, a wait and watch approach is what you're suggesting. So if you're a small investor, that's advice for you. Thank you very much, Mr. Priyaranjan Das, for coming in and helping us understand the situation in the markets a little better. Moving on now, the oil companies have slashed the ATF or jet fuel price today by a steep 11.7%. Now, this is one of the steepest reductions since January, when it saw a cut of over 7,500 rupees per kilolitre. Jet fuel constitutes over 40% of an airline's operating costs, and the price cut will reduce the financial burden on cash-strapped carriers. Simultaneously, the oil firms have also cut prices of non-subsidized LPG by 25 rupees and 50 paisa per cylinder, in line with the dip in international prices. Now, this is the third reduction in rates in as many months. Some political news now, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed his fourth rally in Bihar and Bhagalpur on Tuesday. Launching a scathing attack on the Grand Alliance, Modi demanded that they give an account of the work done by them in the state over the past 25 years.
कि जो सरकार में बैठे हैं, वो अगर आपसे वोट मांगने आए, आप उनको सवाल कीजिए कि आपने वादा किया था कि 2015 में अगर मैं बिजली न दूं तो मैं वोट मांगने के लिए नहीं आऊंगा.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi urging the people of Bihar to vote for the NDA alliance, saying the ruling party had hardly done anything for the state. He said that those in power have to be accountable for the promises they make.
2019 में जब लोकसभा का चुनाव आएगा, मैं फिर से आपके पास वोट मांगने के लिए आऊंगा, और जब 2019 में आऊंगा तो दिल्ली में मेरी सरकार ने क्या काम किया है, पाई पाई का हिसाब दूंगा, पल पल का हिसाब दूंगा.
Attacking the rally of the Grand Alliance held just 2 days ago, Modi also said that all they could talk about was him. There were plenty of counterattacks from the BJP's star campaigner to the Grand Alliance's allegations.
बिहार कैसा बने, बिहार को आगे कैसे ले जाया जाए, इसके विषय में कोई चर्चा नहीं हुई, कोई योजना नहीं बनी. मतदाताओं ने वोट क्यों देना चाहिए, इसके लिए कोई मुद्दे पेश नहीं किए गए. भाइयों बहनों, किया क्या गया? मोदी 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 मोदी। मुझे खुशी है कि मुझे 25 साल तक जिन्होंने जातिवाद का जहर फैलाया, सांप्रदायिकता का जहर फैलाया, उन लोगों को मजबूरन 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 पैकेज लेकर के आना पड़ा है भाइयों।
Modi also tried to set right the acrimony created over his DNA remark. Making amends, Modi termed Biharis the most intelligent people.
2-3 दिन तो हमारे पैकेज की मजाक उड़ाते रहे, बाल की खाल उधेड़ते रहे, लेकिन बिहार की जनता के गले उतार नहीं पाए। बिहार की जनता शायद हिंदुस्तान में सबसे तेज बुद्धिमान लोग कहीं है तो बिहार की धरती पर है।
Dubbed as Parivartan Rally, the Bhagalpur rally was Modi's fourth in the run-up to the assembly elections. Sounding confident, the Prime Minister said no matter how many parties formed an alliance, the voters would still vote for the BJP. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And our campaigning is, of course, in full flow in Bihar, and reacting to Prime Minister Modi's attack, the opposition accused the centre of not having fulfilled any of its election promises. Leaders said that the people of Bihar can expect more from the Grand Alliance than count on the Prime Minister.
87% पुरानी चीज़ों को फिर से रीपैकेजिंग करके और जो ऑनगोइंग प्रोजेक्ट्स है 40,000 करोड़, तो आज यही कर रहे थे कि 1,25,000 करोड़ में खुलेआम 40,000 करोड़ जोड़कर 1,65,000 का उल्लेख बार बार कर रहे थे।
I saw unmistakable signs of the possible defeat on his face. That was a good sight for us, but it does not speak well for the star campaigner for BJP, my Prime Minister. Secondly, I feel that he is coaxing statistics. He is playing with numbers, whereas he doesn't know the direction of the numbers and what numbers say.
Result is negative. So this is only a campaign. And every visit to Bihar, Narendra Modi ji is denigrating or degrading the position of the Prime Minister.
On to news from the northeast, where violent clashes have claimed at least 6 lives in Manipur's Churchandrapur district last night. 13 people are reportedly injured as well. The situation became tense within hours after the assembly passed a few contentious bills allowing land access for non-tribals.
Manipur's Churachandpur district is tense and is under indefinite curfew. Violent clashes erupted hours after the state assembly passed 3 land bills on Monday. An angry mob set ablaze houses of State Health Minister and 5 MLAs. 2 people were killed in police firing.
The police forces have been sent by the Chief Minister. I got in touch with the Chief Minister and also our PCC President, who is the Home Minister there. And they told me that they are sending the Chief Secretary to control the situation. They are also going there to see, to bring normalcy in the area.
There is an issue called inner line permit, and there are controversies on that issue, and Manipur people have been agitating on this issue. That is why I am saying the situation should have been monitored properly by both. I don't mean only the state government, the union government also.
Protesters are agitating against the passage of Manipur Land Revenue and Land Reform Act Amendment Bill 2015. It gives non-tribals access to areas which were off limits to them now. With this, they fear Kukis and Nagas will end up losing their land.
The government brought a bill in the assembly, and inner line permit bill was passed unanimously in the assembly yesterday. This is applicable only to the plain area, not to the tribal area. But the misinformation was given to the tribal people of Surachandpur by the underground, by the militant group, saying that it will affect the tribal area also.
The inner line permit is a government travel document to allow travel of any citizen into a protected area for a limited period. It is obligatory for citizens from outside that state to obtain permit for entering the protected area. In the last 3 years, Manipur has been witnessing violent protests over the implementation of inner line permit system. Protesters believe an influx of outsiders into the state has taken away jobs and land from the indigenous people. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for us to take a very quick break, but coming up on the other side, satellite pictures have confirmed that the ancient city of Palmyra has been completely razed to the ground by the Islamic State militants. More on that on the other side.
India's Muslim population. What problems does it face? How does this minority see and handle its own problems? What are their expectations from the country and the country's expectations of them? Watch the big picture at 6:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, various leaders have reacted to Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari's speech yesterday on the challenges confronting the Muslim community. Calling the government's official objective of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas as commendable, he reminded that significant sections of the Muslim community still remain trapped in the vicious circle. The Vice President said that the community should itself make an autonomous effort in identifying shortcomings.
Delivering the 50th anniversary session of the All India Majlis-e-Mushawarat on Monday, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari identified the principal problems confronting India's Muslims.
इन सरकारी रिपोर्टों के जायजे से ये बात जाहिर होती है कि हिंदुस्तानी मुसलमानों को दरपेश बुनियादी मसाइल 4 उमूर से मुताल्लिक हैं। अव्वल, तशख़्ख़ुस और तहफ़्फ़ुज़। दोम, तालीम और ख़ुद को बाख्तियार बनाना। तीसरा, सरकारी मराहत में मसावी हिस्सेदारी। और चौथा, फैसला साजी में मुनसिफाना शमूलियत।
Vice President Ansari made a pitch for strategies to address problems of identity and security confronting Muslims. He underlined the importance of political sagacity and public opinion in taking corrective action by the state. Equally, he called on the Muslim community itself to make an autonomous effort in identifying shortcomings. Underlining that there is ample theoretical space for focused thinking on social change without disturbing the fundamentals of faith, the Vice President stressed on efforts to be made in the context of Indian conditions and its plural, secular and democratic traditions.
There is a need for appropriate affirmative action which can help Muslims to overcome their miserable plight, because access to education, access to employment is an issue for a majority of Muslims, particularly the Muslim women.
माननीय अंसारी साहब ने जो बात कही है बहुत उचित बात कही है, और इस महत्वपूर्ण पद पर रहते हुए उन्होंने इतनी बड़ी बात कही है। सरकार की आंख खुलनी चाहिए। ये बात सही है कि सिर्फ नारे से सबका साथ सबका विकास कहने से नहीं होगा, ये दिखना भी चाहिए, ज़मीन पर नज़र भी आना चाहिए।
Vice President Ansari concluded his speech by reminding that the Indian experience of the Muslim minority living in a secular polity could even be a model for others to emulate. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And for all the other national news stories, let's now take you nationwide. Physical education degree holders today staged violent protests outside the Uttar Pradesh Assembly in Lucknow. The students demanding employment, holding a protest against State Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav. Police lathi-charged the protesters, who in turn pelted stones at security personnel. Water cannons were also used to disperse the protesters, who set a car on fire. Ratan Watal took charge as the new Finance Secretary. Watal is a 1978 batch IS officer of the Andhra Pradesh cadre and was the Expenditure Secretary in the Finance Ministry. He is the senior most among secretaries in the ministry. The flood situation in Assam and Bengal turned grim after incessant rainfall over the last 2 days. The flood situation has affected over 7.3 lakh people in 14 districts, and 6 more people lost their lives, taking the death toll higher. In fact, 223. 1 lakh hectares have nearly been destroyed, with 1600 villages have been submerged. Some sports now, and India defeated Sri Lanka by 117 runs in the third and final test in Colombo on Tuesday to win the series on the island for the first time since 1993. Chasing a target of 386, the hosts were bowled out for 268 after tea on the fifth day, despite a fighting 110 from skipper Angelo Matthews. Matthews and debutant Kusal Pereira put on 135 for the sixth wicket. Ravichandran Ashwin finished with 4 wickets, while Ishant Sharma took 3. Cheteshwar Pujara's comeback knock of 145 not out in the first innings earned him the man of the match award. Ashwin himself won the man of the series after taking 21 wickets in 3 tests. This is the first ever Test series win for Virat Kohli after he took over captaincy last year. This is also only the third time that India has come back from a 1-0 deficit in a Test series to win it.
We believed that we can turn the series around, because the way we lost in Galle was because we played bad cricket in 2 sessions and we won 6 sessions there. So there was a lot of positive to take from that game, and we focused on that rather than the bad cricket that we played. So I think it took a lot of effort from all the guys to stay positive and turn things around, which we believe we could do. And I think me and Ashwin are sitting here talking about winning the series because of that belief that we had even after losing the first game. And I think that's very, very important.
We need a top order to fire, to be honest. But chasing 385, we could have chased it down if we had a good start. We kept losing wickets. We lost 3 wickets for 20 runs, and it was a little too much for us, for the middle order players to go out there and score that 385.
And let's go across to one of my favorite sports journalists, Shekhar Luthra, sports editor at the DNA, now joins us. Shekhar, a great win for India. After 1993, this is the first time that we've won a series, a Test series, more importantly, in Sri Lanka.
Yes, that's important, because I think the way we were playing, till the first test, I think there was a lot of things that we needed to learn, and probably, under Virat Kohli, a little bit of aggressive, I won't call it very aggressive captaincy, but again, a little change from what Dhoni used to do. So playing with 5 bowlers, playing a little bit aggressive in their batting style also. I think this is a good series victory. And also he's going to learn a lot from this, because this is just a beginning for this young captain. And I hope he'll also learn to play at least the 11 important players. When I say 11 important, is the 11 players who truly deserve to be there in the Team India.
All right, an important point you make over there, because politics is often, in fact, even team politics is often overtaken cricket, especially recently. But Shekhar, if we talk about one man's comeback, that was Cheteshwar Pujara, man of the match award for his unbeaten knock of 145. So, great time to do a good comeback.
Great time, and also very timely, I would say, reaction from this young man, because technically, if you talk about Pujara, he's the best in the team. And also why he was kept out, it is something, only the team management can reveal. Only, for me, I think it was only to accommodate few quota players in the team, and that is why I'm saying it is just a beginning for Virat Kohli, because he'll have to learn that in order to be a successful captain like Ganguly or Dhoni's first period, as a captain, he'll have to, have at least 10 important players in the team. Probably one quota will always stay in Team India. So in a way, I think Rohit Sharma never deserved to be there in the Team India. At the first place, he was tried at number 3, he was tried at number 5. You can talk about his half century in this innings, but again, you give anybody this much of chances, and he's going to perform sometimes or the other. So right. Pujara has replied to all the critics, and he's there to stay now, because be it as number 1 opener or number 3 probably, where he belongs to, right. He'll have to be there in Team India.
All right, very quickly, as far as the bowling attack is concerned, is it more stable? Is it more can we expect more from them? Does it have the punch now? Very quickly, please.
Well, I think Ishant is looking very complete bowler right now. I'm not a great fan of Ishant, but the way he has come back after that 6-wicket haul, I think he's looking much improved. he's going to stay there, and also along with Umesh Yadav. I think this is very important phase of Indian pace attack.
All right, we leave it over there. Shekhar, thanks very much for coming in and helping us understand this important milestone as far as Indian cricket is concerned. Let's now get you updated from the world of sports, all the other sports in Sports Beat. Serena Williams and Rafael Nadal won the first rounds in the US Open. Serena won as her opponent Vitalia retired 6-2, 2-0 down. Nadal saw off 18-year-old Borna Koric in 4 sets. World number 1 Novak Djokovic also went through, but 4th seed Kei Nishikori crashed out, losing 5 sets to Frenchman Benoit Paire. Commonwealth Games silver medalist L. Devendra Singh assured himself a place in the upcoming World Championships by storming into the Asian Championship semi-final on Tuesday. It has also assured him a medal at the championships. Devendra defeated Cornelius Wangolangu of Indonesia 3-0 in the quarterfinal bout. Vishwanathan Anand's hunt for an elusive victory continued as he was held to a draw against Wesley So of the USA in the 7th round of the Squinfield Cup. This was Anand's 5th drawn match in as many rounds. He remained on joint 8th position with just 2 rounds to go in the competition. The Indian football team played out a goalless draw against Nepal in Pune in an international friendly. The home side had the best chance in the 16th minute through JJ, which went wasted. The match was drawn and has now put pressure on India before their encounter against Iran in a week's time. Okay, this is really disturbing news because one of the most culturally significant pieces of architecture in the world has been completely destroyed. So displaying satellite imagery, the United Nations has confirmed that the main temple in the ancient city of Palmyra in northern Syria has been demolished. There were unconfirmed reports of an explosion at the Temple of Bel triggered by the Islamic State. UN satellite analysts said the satellite images now shows almost nothing remains. UNESCO says the 2,000-year-old Temple of Bel was one of the most important religious buildings of the 1st century AD in the East and had a unique design. At least 4 people were killed and several others were injured when a suicide bomber targeted paramilitary forces in Pakistan's northwest Khyber region. 15 security personnel were among those injured. All the injured have been rushed to a hospital in Peshawar. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack just yet. However, Taliban is suspected to be behind the attack. The military is cordoned off the blast site for investigations. A curfew is in place as well. Time now for all the other international news and global buzz. US President Barack Obama has called on world leaders to agree to cut carbon emissions when they meet for crucial talks in Paris later this year. Speaking in Alaska, he said countries, including his own, were not doing enough to stop global warming. World powers met in Paris in December with the aim of agreeing to curb global temperature rises. 141 people remain hospitalized after the nationalist protests in Kiev turned violent, with 10 of the injured in a serious condition. The nationalist protesters clashed with the police outside Ukraine's parliament on Monday as lawmakers voted to give greater powers to Russia-backed separatists in eastern Ukraine. The Italian Navy rescued some 100 immigrants off the coast of Libya on Monday, with thousands more expected to arrive on European shores over the coming weeks. More than 111,000 migrants and refugees have reached Italy via sea so far this year, overwhelming local reception centres. The Italian government has forced to seek help from EU partners. Well, that's all from us. Goodbye.